To welcome you all to our open discussion at ICCEEE subsection in Sudan and the Network of Technology Horizons in Sudan. We are going to discuss few issues about research with two of very active researchers in the ICT and engineering fields. I'm very glad to have at my right hand Professor Anthony Chan, senior researcher, very active senior researcher at wireless networks and standards, previously working at University of Cape Town. At my left hand, I'm honored to have Professor Naira Tebnath, the head of computer science at Winona State University in the US. And I have some of our bright students from University of Khartoum and University of Sudan to have some points to discuss with our guests. I hope that this discussion will be fruitful and everybody will benefit from it. First of all, I know that the two professors, this is your very first visit to Sudan, and I'm sure that you had some expectations before you come to Sudan. Before we talk about that, what do you think about the conference?
This conference is the first conference in Sudan. As the first conference, it is a really great success. I had been in Africa for 4 years before, and making a conference in Africa is not easy at all. And given the short time, having a conference is a great success. But it's not just the success, but it's what the impact it would be as a driving force for research and more collaboration in the future.
Excellent. Professor?
I have been involved in organizing conferences for many years, and the main idea is to encourage people to come, share, and exchange ideas in their discipline, so that we can all learn from the research results in the field, as well as we can have joint interest to collaborate within ourselves to make it a successful profession.
You know the slogan of our conference is ICCEEE, the International Conference on Computing and Electronic and Electrical Engineering. The slogan is research makes a difference. It's a very big slogan, and we know that this is not an easy job to do, but what do you think about this slogan? And can we really make a difference with this research?
Yes. This is, I consider, an academic meeting. Most of the attendees are from universities and colleges, and some from industry. Now, if we look at our duties as an academic person in the university, we have several points to explore. First of all, we have to get good teacher in the classroom. Second, we have to have some research and scholarly activities to have professional and personal growth. And then we have to serve students for their growth and development. And then we always, in order to do a better job in the classroom, we always have to continue our preparation of study and research. And then, of course, we have to serve the university and community. Now, if you look at this, without being active in research, it is very difficult to effectively perform all these duties, because they are all basically related. So research does make a difference in many different ways. For example, we have to be an effective teacher, we have to do research and make sure, particularly in computer science area, where the discipline is changing very rapidly. Therefore, we have to be always active in new state-of-the-art technology, state-of-the-art information. And therefore, based on all of those points that I mentioned, the research does make a difference to make an effective profession in the future.
There are three topics in the conference, right? You have computer, electrical engineering, and communication. My own research area is in communication, so I only talk about that part. Communication or IT, we're living in a world with IT, and to do communication network, first of all, when we are in Sudan, one of the big difference is that we are not seeing a fast network. When I go to the internet, it is slow. Even when I talk to other people, they told me it's not just the conference, other people. I asked a few people in Sudan and they told me, yes, the internet is slow at home. It takes time to make it fast, but then when we talk about communication and IT is the important area. The driving force, the enabler for communication is the network. So fundamentally, you need a high-speed network being available to as many people as possible in the country at a low cost, at a low price, so that most people in the country are accessible to it. That's the enabler. It doesn't compete with the rest. But after you have enabler, people can build a lot of things on it. What can you build? Plenty, and in every country in particular. Many years ago, I was in the United States, and some company want to do more business because we were at the point that everybody is susceptible to the internet. So what else can you do? Well, you make them, make the customer enjoy something, such as entertainment, game, and all those things. That was what was happening 10 years ago. And I told them that's nonsense. It doesn't work for the European country at all. It may enable you to make some more profit because more people want to move in them. But the fundamental thing for the developing country is to have the network so that you can have e-government, e-health, whatever thing. You enable you to be in a situation that you are in this equal setting with the rest of the world. Imagine that if you had a high-speed network. I was in Cape Town for 4 years myself, and at that time, the handicap for me to do research is the slow internet. If I had a high-speed internet, there's no difference whether I'm sitting in the United States, in Europe, or in a developing country. No difference at all. I can pick up and talk to anyone. It makes you tie to the rest of the world. That's the fundamental difference in the digital divide. But how do you accomplish that? Well, this is only part of the enabler. You need the education. You need to have the network. 10 years ago, the fiber optic was already there undersea, but it was underutilized. There are not enough expertise to use that. And so in terms of education, we need to educate the people, fundamental changes in the curriculum, not just look at what the textbook have, but look at what are the problems in the society, what are fundamental needed. At the time, I actually changed the curriculum fundamentally to teach the basics at one hand, and also expose students to what are the needs, what are the future in what they have. So that you prepare the student. If they want a research career, they can do that. If they want to get a job, they can do it. Let me give you an example. All the textbooks you can see in the network are talking about IPv4. But none of the research you can do is on IPv4. If you do research, you've got to do IPv6. If you get a job, when you have a job, the job doesn't need you to work on IPv4 anymore. Their IPv4 addresses are completely depleted already. But the textbooks are 5 or 10 years too old. So if you don't have the enabler, how can you fill the industry with job, and how can you even do your research? Basically, the student have to relearn everything if they want to do research. After filling the book, they have to relearn everything in order to do research. That's how it slows down. So once you have the enabler, you're basically breaking the digital one. You can have canvas all the jobs, all the enablers are there. doing that with the rest of the world. Now, it's not being from United States point of view. I love to see more developing countries being enabled. It's not something. Some people might misunderstand that are we taking away the job? No, you enable more because the intelligence of human beings are unlimited. The number of jobs is unlimited, not because we are not something sitting there and there are limited number of jobs backward. In fact, we create a job. We create a job, you create the services. You look at the problem in the society, in the developing country, there are plenty of problems. We are not waiting for someone to hire us, but we actually think about what are the problems in the developing country. How do we solve it? Once we have the network, how do we solve it? And when you solve it, you're creating new products, new services. So you're creating new jobs.
Okay.
Not only for your own country, and sometimes that product becomes so globally, it can be useful for other countries too. So you're creating more and more jobs. The intelligence. It's true that in some sense that jobs nowadays are volatile. In the sense that after you finish the job, you don't need you anymore. But you are needed to do something new. And that's a
You
challenge.
need to develop new skills, maybe new knowledge, to go to another level, to find a new job. And I mean, like, what people think here, IT, actually, when we have very good networks, we have computerized systems, people we are going to lose jobs, because the people who used to do the job manually are going to kick them out, and but what you say now is completely different. I mean, with technology, we can actually create new jobs, different jobs, with different knowledge, maybe different skills, but still, people really need it.
Yes, the more we do, we are making the society better and better. You make it more efficient. In the past, people worry, you automate everything. Where are the jobs?
Yeah, that's the common sense. Everybody talking about if everything is automated, we're going to lose our job. And that's why even people, they resist changes to IT. They say if it's automated, we're going to lose our jobs. That's why maybe they resist. Excellent.
Look at it a different point of view.
Mm.
The wealth in the whole world has increased. So if I automate something, I'm increasing the wealth of the whole country. Now, if some of them are losing jobs, if there are some starving, it is our human problem.
Yeah.
It is our human problem to make some people starve. We are getting more wealth. Why should somebody be starving?
At the same time, we have more money, but still people
We
are
have more money. If
So it's
somebody
your
loses a
problem.
job, we have to do something different.
So it's not the IT problem.
It's not a problem. We have to, because the whole world, the whole country is growing
Yeah.
in development, product, more food, more coal, more everything. How can you tolerate to see other people starve? We need to do something about it. How to help them by having the information system. How to help the poor people so that they don't starve. We have to think about it. How to help the people who don't have job. And that's why we need the re-education. The jobs they are doing, the labors are gone. But we had to give them the new training, new jobs. When we increase the wealth, there are many ways to do it. And when you're creating jobs, at the long run, you have to have the poor people in some way or another. Either find some job for them, or if they cannot do anything, the social service or something, we have to have them differentiate. If we increase the wealth of the whole country, we should not let people starve. And we should think of what services we can do. Medical is one of them. When we was in Cape Town, there were so many people with HIV and tried to use the inform system to help them.
Excellent, Prof. Chan. That's a good point to make. And I think what you just said is IT can actually improve the country, develop the country, make it make wealth the country. But we need to, kind of develop new skills, maybe move our people to another level, to be adapted to the technology, and then they can be part of the developing of the IT and the country as well.
That also creates more job for the professors. Because people have to keep learning new things.
Exactly. So excellent. And now I'm going to move to our students, and we see if they have some points to make.
Okay. I would like to ask you about how to link a gap between industry and academics. Here in Sudan, we have a big gap between industries and universities. Okay, in your opinion, can you give us a techniques or some examples for countries that develop or their universities and industrial fields?
You mean how do you create a partnership between the university and the industry?
Yeah.
One way, the way we do it is industry asks our students to go and work as an internship training.
Yeah.
And therefore we create our curriculum in such a way that they can serve the nearby industries well. And so the industries come and look for our graduates or the students who are about to graduate so that they can go there and get a practical training.
Yeah.
And at the same time create a relationship between the university and the industry, so when there is a job available, they already know that there are potential candidates from this university.
Yeah.
And so that has two positive aspects of it. One is you are creating a constant relationship between the university and the industry. At the same time, the students have an opportunity to go and get a job as soon as they graduate, because they are already prepared and trained in this field.
Okay, is that possible if industry show the academics or universities they need an industry and academics make the research in this or not? Okay. Yeah.
Well, the industry may give you some specification that these are the
if they need the research in a field.
Research or any training or any knowledge or any coursework they specifically
It's not
need.
only about research.
Yeah, not only research,
That-
it's research and training.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're basically serving an industry, and the industry is also serving this in university.
Okay.
As a university, a student, you need to understand the industry. And one of the things that some of the ICCEEE conferences are doing in the recent year is to have the industry forum at the conference. It is a section in which people from the industry talk about the industry. What are the IT products doing? What is the future that they anticipate? And when you look at these problems, they are not telling you how to do research, but if they're telling you these are the security goal in the future, these are the network they need, these are the product that they need, you have so many different products, then it gives you ideas of the research. You know how to do research, it helps you to link better, and you can do that under the ICCEEE conference to do that forum. Normally you have the technical paper as usual, but then you have the additional forum that you invite different companies to give the talks on the different topics. And they will talk about the perspective, not just the existing product. I don't mean a forum in which they talk about as a sales of product, okay, it's not for sale, but rather talk about the view of the future.
The trends in the industry.
The training industry, all the different aspects, different companies.
So, as he said that there is a gap between the industry and the universities in Sudan, so how can we provoke the industry to fund the research in the universities? And on the other hand, how can universities prepare proposals that pursue the industry to fund?
That is a difficult problem. Okay. Now, the companies in the developing countries are usually not looking at research yet, not even developing countries, even in advanced countries. I'm fortunate myself to be working in a company that's supporting research. There are not that many companies around because the company views that if you need to do product, you have to do research. Without research, you cannot do product because the products have a lifetime. The example that I give is that in the old time, a decade ago, if you are electrical engineer, you know all the codes of the building. And your whole lifetime is to how to use those codes, and that's the job. You don't have to learn anything new. Yeah. Nowadays, whatever you have is not needed next year. Yeah. So you have to continue to learn new things. Yeah. And that is why they need us. That's the challenge. Yeah. Because the product life cycle is very short. You make a telephone, a few years, it's gone. You cannot keep selling that same phone anymore. And that company cannot survive. You make a computer, you don't survive. BlackBerry, for example, is having a survival problem. You invent a BlackBerry phone, after a few years, then that's gone. Some people are making a cheaper phone than you, they're competing with you. So how do those companies survive? In order to keep doing research for the new product. And that is why they need engineers. And that's the good news for engineers. That's why they need us. But it doesn't conclude that they will pay you to do the research at the university, because they can do the research in the company. In my life, for example, I do the research, but I have to make my time efficient. I don't have time to do the simulation. Okay, doing simulation takes a whole year. And when I have a research idea, if I do all the simulation, then I don't have time to have other research ideas because there's so many problems. So simulation is one of the examples, because as a student, you need to do a thesis. And that's one of the examples that we normally partner with university to do, but not necessarily in the ideas of it. But in that process, we learned that idea. Another model that was happening when I was in Cape Town was that in South Africa, the companies need to hire people. And where are they going to hire them? Nowhere, because the country is developing. And courses are not new enough. And there were not enough students to hire at that time. So at that, it was a government effort to ask the companies to sponsor deep scholarship to the students. The scholarship in terms of research, in terms of master's degree, in terms of PhD degree, to basically help those students, if they go in research but cannot afford it, then the company will give you that. Nowadays, research doesn't need a lot of facility. I mean, in my area network, you just need a computer high network and can do research. And I can access it to the digital library. That's all I need. I mean, there are not a lot of medicine is different. You have to buy a lot of equipment. I don't know other field. So the cost is basically for the person to survive. And so the deal is that they sponsor those students, they create those scholarships, but not for nothing. And those companies has a priority to hire that person. When the person graduates, they have a priority to hire them. If they decide to hire you and you don't want to take the job, then you have to pay them back. That was the South African model. You have the option to find some other job, but if the company decide to hire you, they are the first. If you work for some company, you pay them back in a few years. Now, the company also had the option not to hire you. They decide that your research is not good enough for them. They decide not to hire you. But that is a relationship. That was a joint effort between the government, industry, and it allows the company to go faster locally. I mean, every company wants to go fast. How do you go fast? You have to hire people locally. And that was one of the ways to do it. You make the people available because they can tell you, okay, you have to, if the companies will network, you say, I sponsor your research to work in network, but not a specific topic, but somewhere else to become employable. Like a software company can do the same thing. A computer company can do the same thing. It gives them, it opens the door for that company to grow. And after you hire those people, you have a better relationship, and sometimes you can do the research sponsorship.